Let's hear Shalini Khanna talk about the training programs at the National Association for the Blind, NAB Centre for Blind Women, Delhi, which equip women with essential skills for independence and employment, including specialized medical training to use their tactile sense to detect breast cancer. Shalini shares the challenges, provides examples of blind employees excelling in various fields, and highlights the limitless potential of people with disabilities. Can you share details about NAB and the training programs it provides for people with visual impairments?
I am currently also the chairperson for the Skill Council of PwDs in India. And so I also feel a little more responsible for the activities for the blind, especially in India, because I feel whoever is training disabled or employing disabled wants to always keep visually impaired a little aside, because they are a little more severe in their disability when it comes to learning and working, vocational training. So this institute, this center, working from 2002, has brought many new programs to India from other countries also. So, we started with a computer training and packaging training, and we started employing girls in factories. We were the first ones in the country to employ blind women in the factories. Well, that continues to be a major vocation and a major employment avenue, because out of that training, about 70% women get employed, which is a large number considering blindness of women. And apart from that, then we got a training from Japan. Now the spa is called Talking Hands. And in Japan and China, there are some vocations which are earmarked for blind people and which are very market oriented. That's their oriental therapy. So, all thanks to the Tsukuba University in Japan and their trainers, they approached us and we brought it to India. We started it in Ahmedabad, BRA, and started in NIVH also and here. Under this training, the blind people with their tactile sense, they sense the blockages of your nerves in any region of your body, and then they bring the opening to those nerves with their pressure. And it's amazing how, because of that focus that comes from the blindness, they are able to figure out the slightest blockages in your nerves in any part of the body. That's what we started in 2011-12, and then slowly in 2017, we got a training called Discovering Hands from Germany, where again using the tactile sense, the blind women would find out the smallest abnormality in a woman's breast in the third layer of the skin. That's the innermost layer of the skin, and so they can figure out the first stage of cancer if there is. It took a long time convincing doctors in India that just a touch is making it possible, while mammography and whatnot has been put into place, to stop the breast cancer from spreading like epidemic. I mean, there's so many deaths because of breast cancer in India, especially. And the doctor in Germany, who's the founder of this whole thing, he looked for us because the numbers of deaths from breast cancer in India are the most in the world, and the number of blind women in India are the most in the world. So he felt this was a very win-win situation. And we started in 17. COVID stopped the practice a little for 2 years, but by now there are so many blind women who are working in Tata, Varanasi, they're working in Medanta, they're working in 3 public hospitals in Gurgaon, Haryana. They go for rural camps all the time. They just came back yesterday from Barabanki, covering 7 villages, 500 women, and now they're going off to Hoshiarpur. So, because we want to take this technique to the regions where mammography doesn't reach, where ultrasounds don't reach. And the women, even in rural regions, are suffering from breast cancer. No, nothing is saving them from that. So this is amazing. I mean, now the doctors are accepting this technique, that again, just the tactile sense, because a blind woman is able to read zero point 0.1 millimeter of the braille dot. So the first stage of cancer is still zero point 0.5 millimeter. She's able to, zero point 0.5 centimeter, and she's able to figure that out. And then came blind bake in COVID. Since when I started the center in 2002 for NAB India, it was a result of a study called Status of Blind Women in India, where we had studied 500 women across the country and their needs. And I also saw personally that there are women in many regions who don't know what to do, whose parents don't know what to do with them. So they marry off their blind daughter with a sighted daughter to the same man. Yeah, like a trousseau. I saw it. And I was shocked. But the woman was not even indicting her own parents because she knew that her parents didn't know what to do with her. She did not know how to make a cup of tea because nobody was teaching her that. People were scared, mothers are scared that my daughter is going to get harmed. So that's when we decided that when we start the center, every woman would learn cooking. Though initially the girls didn't like it, let me tell you, because they were never taught. So they were scared and also it was work. So they used to feel, ये क्यों इतना सारा मुझे काम करना है? And but slowly, after now these many years, in I think 2018, some blind girl only told me, you're not able to find a job for me. I'm totally uneducated, but I can cook well. Why don't you try me opening a canteen within house, huh? For your staff. You have 20 people, let's try. No harm, fine, start. And in a little corner, we started her little canteen. Then 2 came, then 4 came. Then a girl came from Nepal saying, I've heard that you teach this and baking, and I want to start a cafe in Nepal, so teach me. She flew all the way from Nepal. And in COVID, funding stopped, activities stopped. And this husband of mine, he said, you have so much space. This canteen, move outside. Let them try catering to people and let's see how it works. And we were very, very doubtful that my lawn goes. Yeah, and I don't know how are they going to face the world like that. But November 21st, 21, we started, and in 22, people started coming in. People were accepting it very well. And I was shocked to see how they were working beautifully in baking, Ritika. We had tried so many job mappings in hotels, and hotel guys would not accept blind women in the kitchen and baking. They would say, risk prone hai. But if you now see, we have a nutritionist, Ishi Khosla, on board, a very senior woman in the country who's written books and Whole Foods and all that. She was shocked to see the blind guy baking because she said his measurements don't go bad even in one cake, even if he's making 50 together, because he's so precise in his measurements, and baking is all about measurements. And we did make our machines a little blind friendly because no machines are made blind friendly, and we made some kind of arrangements on the machines to, give them the monitoring or feedback. And well, here you are. The Blind Bake got the Condé Nast Award this year, the Spirit of Hospitality, and I'm still getting goosebumps because this was something that took a lot of labor. At the same time, it's all because of the blind women. Their whole sense of ownership and enterprise and not saying no to anything. And they made it so amazingly. We have 2 cafes, one in Taj Mansingh, one in Taj Palace. They're being called by Facebook, by Google, by anybody to just come and hold that stall and let people see that you can cook and you can serve. So with Discovering Hands, with Talking Hands, with Blind Bake, they have totally reversed the table. They have come on the other side of the table to serve you and not just receiving the service. And I am very proud, very, very proud mother of thousands of women right now.
As the chairperson of the Skill Council for Persons with Disabilities in India, what initiatives have you taken to support people with different disabilities?
There are NGOs from other disabilities also in the council sitting there. So there is, for the deaf, like the sky is the limit right now. People have worked so much. be it Noida Deaf Society, be it another one in Gurgaon, so many people have, Muskan, so many people have worked. I think the two disabilities that were not being picked up to work for were intellectual disabilities and blindness for visual impairment. And me and Shanti Alakji both had been kind of really speaking all the time that this has to be finished, because see, numbers are everybody's targets these days. For the council also, they had targets to fulfill. And the numbers can't be fulfilled with severe disabilities, right? So somehow these disabilities were always sidelined. But we had already piloted 3 training programs for certification 3 years back for the council. The CCE, Customer Care Executive course, the Assistant Spa Therapist, and the packaging. And they were adopted. And now after I came as a chairperson, yes, I have been pushing that discovering has to be certified in India and by the medical field. So we're really trying hard. And about the intellectual disabilities also, we've made a task force specially to discuss about what kind of studies have to be taken up to understand what can be done better. And also that this sheltered employment also perhaps might be accepted as employment, because with intellectual disabilities you have to look at any kind of way to, employ them. So there are separate task forces now which are taking care of the activities for different disabilities in it. And the ultimate objective is to accept as many number of disabilities by the year to foray into different kind of employments. And main work of Skill Council is to certify the courses. So now there are some 300 courses which are certified already, and maybe the number is here or there, but the number is definitely larger than 5 years back. And it's a young council, it's just a 7-year-old council. So I'm sure the times to come are better times to come for disability, especially when you can now see so many bright, young, dynamic, disabled people into the play. I mean, when you are watching the national awards, you feel so proud to see one Vineet Saraiwala. Then there's Danish Mahajan from Radio Udan. There is this, it's just never ending. Sam Taraporwala, and lovely, absolutely. I saw my girls receiving the award on the Konena stage, and I was like, nothing is impossible if they're just guided a little out of their house. That's about it. Rest they will do.
What do you think is the biggest challenge for people with disabilities in leaving their homes and finding jobs?
I feel the fears of the guardians and the parents are the biggest hindrance in the way of disabled people coming out of their homes and being a part of the main workforce. Abhibi, we do train intellectually disabled people also who have a slight problem in the eyes too. And I can see that the people who can afford, students coming from well-off homes, they're the worst subjected to a lot of fear, because the parents can provide a car all the time to you, and they're very scared that you should not be going out into new places. All your growth is totally barred. And this is not going to happen like that. You will have to kick the child out to say, please go make your life. So I hope that parents of intellectually challenged people can give away their fears for the sake of their children, to let them go explore their own world. Otherwise, you're projecting your own fears on the child most of the time. So I feel that it's the youngsters, it's the adolescents who have to shun off their fears and come out of their homes themselves also. I always say, sitting here, everybody has to fight their own war. Nobody is going to fight it for you and then win it for you. So I have seen blind women really fighting their own wars at homes, leaving their homes at the cost of not coming back ever. And imagine a blind woman who can't see outside her door now saying, I am going to get out, you throw me in the jungle or whatever. I heard one of my girls sharing on the Disability Day that my parents told me, once you go out of this house, you're never going to come back. We're not going to accept you. And she said, doesn't matter, maybe I'll get killed outside, but this is also not less than death. This is not the life I want to live. I want to definitely try getting out into the jungle that you make the world out to be. Fine, maybe some animal is going to kill me. At least I will not die feeling I have never tried. So I feel life is worth trying. She's a chef in the cafe now. Kismat. And she's a slow learner. But that day made me realize, look at her growth comparing to where she was. Don't compare her with anybody else. Where she was, where she had to fight, she came out of the house on herself. She has been here trying trainings, and now chef is the most difficult training a blind woman can go through. But she has put her hand into it, and slowly she is really trying. Once you start trying, nothing is impossible for anyone in the world. We've seen the worst disabilities making it in able Olympics. Yeah. So I feel all the blind women who are listening to me, they must feel that the world is blind. And sight is very, very blinding. You are going to make the world better and sighted once you come out and start making them see what you can do better. So start today.